We're making real sourdough pizza, no commercial yeast. Here's what you'll need. Some pretty basic stuff. It's useful if you have a food scale for accurate measurements. If not, no worries. The standard equivalents will be on screen as we go. This dough is from a recipe on savorthebest.com. The link will be in the description. First, I'm carefully measuring out 150 grams of regular all-purpose flour. Next, 3 grams of salt. Next, 120 grams of fed active sourdough starter. This is 3 times the size it was 3 hours ago, and it was still bulging upwards, so it was still on the rise. And finally, 59 grams of warm water. If you're measuring by scale, pour slowly. Water is dense and likes to scale up in a hurry. Now grab a wooden spoon and mix everything until it just comes together. It looks like nothing now, but it'll really come together later when you need. I'm using a dough mat. You'll see how useful it is throughout this video. Your countertop is perfectly fine though. Lightly dust your surface with flour, which happens to be the exact opposite of what I'm doing here. I could have made a second pizza with this amount of flour. Now dump your just together dough onto your floured surface. And then get kneading. It takes about 8 to 10 minutes of kneading. Your dough will take shape and become smooth and pillowy. Form it into a smooth ball and place it into a bowl that's been lightly coated with olive oil. Move it around to get everywhere coated. Then loosely cover the bowl with plastic wrap. Take a mental picture and let it rest to double in size. And look at this. I'm going to use this opportunity to stress again. This is without commercial yeast. It took a little more than 3 hours for me, but the time can vary. This is where the cornmeal, flour, or parchment paper will be useful to prevent sticking. I'm using cornmeal. Now dump your risen dough onto your surface and let's get to work. I know this is a pizza video and you want to see some flair and me using my knuckles to toss the dough into the air. Bear in mind this is my second time making pizza and the first time was yesterday. I tried that yesterday and the dough became uneven. Therefore, I recommend using a rolling pin to get started and then using your hands to push the dough out to the size you need. This is where the dough mat is useful. It has an 11-inch measurement, which is the second circle from the outside. This dough can be used for a 12-inch pizza, but my pan is 11 inches, so that's how we're doing it today. Now let it rest for an hour. Preheat your oven to 500 degrees Fahrenheit. With 10 minutes of rest remaining for your dough, pop your pan or stone into the oven. It needs to be scorching hot. Here's where you can do your own thing, or do what I'm doing. I top my pizza with vegetables, cheese, and marinara. Do what feels right. I just took the pan out of the oven after 10 minutes and it's piping hot. I'm coating the bottom of the pan with some olive oil. Now transfer the dough to the pan. This is why the cornmeal was useful. You can see the dough had a little bit of a second rise too. Now start topping. This is just marinara from the jar, probably a cup or so. This is definitely half a bag of shredded mozzarella cheese, so 4 ounces. And these are some chopped vegetables. I highly advise against picking up anything that falls into the pan like I just did. I can't stress enough the heat radiating from this pan right now. Now into the oven for about 10 minutes. This is right out of the oven. I actually let it rest for 10 minutes. And then I move it onto another surface so I can cut into it. I'm going to cut into it so you can see the crust. I'd compare it to a Trader Joe's frozen pizza or your favorite pan pizza. Sturdy, crispy on the bottom, and doughy on the inside. I see a lot of sourdough pizza recipes add commercial yeast to the dough. I just don't see why. Do the right thing. Make a real sourdough pizza.